welcome to the Khaya Real Estate Podcast. I'm Nick Hodap, Managing Director of Khaya Real Estate. With me today and every week is the Pitbull Super Agent, Lisa Shun. We will be bringing you topics every week of all things real estate. Lisa, talk to me a little bit about what it is you do and specialize in, and what got you into real estate and what you are going to bring to the podcast every week.
Well, that's a great question. I got into real estate out of necessity. It wasn't necessarily something that I knew much about. Like most Americans, I came out of college with an awesome science degree and an MBA and realized I couldn't balance a checkbook. I didn't know how to do my taxes, and I certainly didn't know how to get ahead, right? I was working, I was making six figures, and it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to save for college, to figure out how to create more passive income so I could travel, so I could pick my kids up after school every day. And it was a life event. I had a pretty traumatic divorce. I mean, most of them are. And I found myself completely alone in debt, and I had to make some moves pretty quickly. And one of my best friends and mentor, who we both know, sat me down and said, hey, here's the game. It's a chess game. Here's how you use real estate. You're gonna Airbnb your house to pay off debt. And then you're gonna buy a primary and you're gonna move in it for 6 months. And you're gonna rent this house and you're gonna do it again. Now you're gonna have 2 homes. You're gonna pull the equity out of those. And I could go forever. I love this, but I literally have turned $30,000 into $3 million of assets in less than 3 years, just by playing the game.
And I love that. And I love that story. And that is exactly what we're going to bring with this podcast. Is our goal here is to educate and empower and talk all things real estate and have fun while we do it. We talk often at the office about what our why is. I think it's very important to have a why when you're doing something. You need to have that passion and that drive to go and educate and empower and provide a value to a client. Real estate to me is so much more than just spinning a lockbox at a door and showing a home. It's providing for Lisa, it's providing a way for, generational wealth. It's providing assets and a path to retirement. It's providing a financial stability for her and her family. So Lisa, talk to me a little bit more about exactly, you said what you touched on is you turned $30,000 into $3 million portfolio. And I am fortunate enough that I've been alongside every step of the way for that whole journey. And it's been incredible for me to watch. Tell me how you got your first start. Talk about what you do for your clients, that you educate them on going in that direction.
And I love what you said, educate and empower. Educate and empower and then execute, right? That's typically the step that's the hardest. So I hold my client's hand every step of the way. I hate the term realtor or even like real estate broker. I am more of a therapist, if you will, or a comprehensive asset manager. But before that it's like, I want to be your partner. I want to walk this walk with you and hold your hand. I'm going to educate you, teach you how to do it, the ins and outs of lending, why add leverage, the ins and outs of where the market is right now, and then the ins and out of finding the deal, which Nick happens to be superpower at, is finding the right deals. And I think we're going to talk a lot about the difference right now between an investment property and a primary, the difference between a second home, like you're looking for up in the mountains for one of your clients that's going to do, a short-term rental. So there's an awful lot of ways to get into this game, to own enough doors so that you can meet your individual goals.
I like it. So for today's topic, again, we'll be coming to you weekly with different topics. Today, what we want to get into, being that this is our inaugural kickoff podcast, if you will, is kind of just what we're seeing in the market today. There's so many different headlines. There's so many buzzwords out there: inflation, interest rates rising, what the Fed is doing on a monthly basis. There's so much noise in the media, in every aspect of our lives right now, and especially in real estate. And what we want to talk about today and get a little bit more granular on is what it is we're seeing. Where's the opportunity? Where is the distractions? Hey, what's safe versus not safe in the market? And Lisa, you, for the majority of your career, certainly over the past 3 years, have been focused so much on investment properties that now you've switched over to a lot of retail based on the market we're in today. Give me a quick synopsis of what you're seeing today and what kind of advisement you're giving to your retail clients to help them enter the market in this crazy, insane world of headlines and clickbait.
Well, that's a good question. And I should first probably specify retail, as we refer to it, means a primary, a home you're going to occupy and live in, versus an investment property, which is different. Not retail as in commercial, just to kind of clarify that. But essentially where we start is if you're paying rent, you are literally burning money. Okay? The APR, the percentage rate on rent is 100%. That's what you're paying. You get zero return on that rent. So if we can help you get into a home, even if it's your first home, even if it's a condo, even if it's a duplex, even if it's a situation where you have to have roommates or a mother-in-law suite or something, if you're paying rent in Denver, I guarantee you we can get you into a home for around the same cost. So we start there. We start with what are the options to get into your first home, if that's the case.
Yep.
Like I said, was 35 years old and divorced, and I had owned many homes, but I found myself starting over. So it doesn't matter if it's your first home that you're 25 or 35, or I have clients that start building wealth at 65. But right now, the sweet spot is definitely that primary residence. The reason is you get a much better rate and you can do a buy down. There's a temporary buy down, there's permanent buy downs. You've heard the term date the rate, marry the house, right? It's super sexy. But right now, your window is to get into a home. If you didn't 6 months ago, if you got outbid, if you were getting beat up, people were paying $100,000 over asking. 6 months ago, people that had little to no money down had no chance. Right now, literally today, I'm closing on an amazing property from one of my clients who's a VA. A VA loan is one of the hardest to get. It's very competitive with people that are going to throw more money down. We can go into the weeds on that and why it's more risky and all that. But VA, FHA are really hard to get 6 months ago. But right now, that's the sweet spot.
And you know, what's funny is I often hear from buyers that I'm working with, everything I read, prices are coming down, home prices are coming down. Should I wait? Should I try to time the market? I've never been an advocate for trying to time the market. What I do is I focus on from a more macro level. And what I've told all of my clients is trying to time the market is very, very, very difficult and near impossible. But two, you want to take advantage of the opportunity to one, just get in the home. If this is a long-term purchase, which almost always buying real estate is, buying a home is a long-time purchase, then right now is a good time. The competition is less. While inventory remains low, interest rates are going to be what they're going to be. They're going to rise. But at the same time, it gives an opportunity for a buyer that may not have that $100,000 of cash sitting on the sidelines to go over asking price, to go get into a house, to utilize financing products like Lisa had mentioned to say, okay, at least now I can get into a home and I'm building equity. If I'm going to own this home for an extended period of time, I'm not just burning rent every month. You know, the argument that I get in most often with these with folks is renting is cheaper than owning. And you know what? Sometimes it might be. You can put them all cost versus cost.
Yeah.
But it's such a short-term benefit that owning, you can pay that little more, have a little more pain. Maybe you don't get to go out to dinner 3 nights a week. However, you're building equity. You own the asset. It is something that you can give to your kids, that you can utilize as a financing tool down the road. Home ownership is so far and away better than paying rent to anybody that the pros so heavily outweigh the cons. And so, long-winded way of saying what I'm seeing in the market right now is opportunity for those buyers. You're not competing with the investors that are coming in and buying these homes in cash and utilizing them as rentals. This is an opportunity for many buyers to go get into a home. And that's primarily, I know, Lisa, you're working with several buyers, and primarily what I'm working on right now is getting folks into these homes at a rate that we have negotiating power. We don't have to waive things and guarantee appraisals and waive inspections.
Oh, I'm getting $24K back in inspection.
See, there
after I got $50K off the asking price. I mean, they don't call me Pitbull for nothing.
That's right. So
this market is fun, Nick. I do want to say it's hard. It's exhausting. People are overwhelmed. There's so much noise. but owning real estate is fun. Creating wealth is fun. Yes, it's a lot of work. And I know on future episodes, we're going to get into like the weeds of actually property management. How do you manage your asset to make money? How do you stack properties? How do we pull the equity out and build? And we'll get into all that. But at the end of the day, you guys, this is really fun. Okay, real estate, it's easy, but it's not simple. Or is it it's simple, but it's not easy?
Either way.
Either way. We will help you. We'll show
Same.
you how. We'll get into, the details of your specific situation because no two buyers are the same. And it doesn't matter, honestly, if you have no money, if you have debt, if you have despair, divorce, you're getting married, growing a family, whatever you're into, man, we can help you grow your portfolio.
So one thing I want to talk about right now, and I get this question probably the second most, is inventory. Let's chat about inventory in the Denver metro right now. Why is it so low, and is that going to change? There's a heavy percentage of homes right now are all refinanced into those 2.5%, 3% rates, certainly under 4%. Why does anybody have incentive to sell their homes? And why is inventory going to remain constrained like this for the foreseeable future?
I mean, I wish I knew the answers and had a crystal ball, but the numbers don't lie.
Yep.
Denver had the first net negative migration last year over year, since I believe 1996, which means more people are moving out of the state. Now you would think, oh, that's gonna affect rent and whatnot, but those are big numbers, it's a big state. Here in Denver, it's supply and demand. Obviously we have a supply constraint with the mountains, and we have an unlimited amount of supply. But those people that are moving out, to answer your question, are aging out, they're moving to cheaper places to live. We're still getting the influx of California and New York money, right? The post-COVID sort of people getting out of the city and want finally to live in Colorado in this amazing lifestyle. But Denver, it's the shotgun approach. You can buy almost anything west of I-25, Arvada, where you live, all the way down to Littleton, and it's gonna make money. You're gonna appreciate for simple supply and demand. Rents are gonna continue to grow because people wanna live here. They wanna live close to the mountains. They love our lifestyle. Our cost of living is relatively cheap. Now, I'm from California, but 25 years I've been here, so I'm kind of a local. But this is still a pretty cheap place to live relative to, other coastal states.
Yeah, and one thing that I think is really funny about the inventory, and you see, wake up in the morning, and you're scrolling the new listings on the MLS, and you're seeing price decrease. However, in my opinion, good product in good location is still moving at an accelerated rate. For so long, we've been in this market to where a seller could just throw a sign in the selling broker could just throw a sign in the yard. They have 50 showings and 5 to 10 offers in a weekend. Now
that was fun.
Now you're going to have to actually, like you said, it's a fun market because if you're pricing the property correctly, it's a good product in a good area. That product is still moving. It's still moving. I've just last weekend I'm working with a couple of buyers, and we looked at 3 homes. 2 of the 3 homes went under contract over asking in weekend 1. What does that tell me? It tells me a few things. That inventory still remains very light. Demand still remains very strong. And in the event that the product is good and priced accurately, you're going to generate that buzz. So while I do believe it's a good market for a buyer to be in, I feel like it's a bit more balanced market with sellers and buyers, not just so heavily weighted on the seller side.
I think that's a good point too. It really does depend on the price point. If you're priced right now, you will go under contract within probably 24 hours. The same thing we're seeing.
Sure.
If you are still living in the 6 months ago market, you're gonna come in 100K over ask, it's gonna sit there. Crickets, you're gonna have to drop price. And as a buyer, I'm getting those houses 100K under asking, under value, because the September market was at the top. We hit a wall. The week after Labor Day, everything stopped. And it was pretty mellow and stable through the holidays. And then sure enough, first week of the new year when I got back from Mexico, the market jumped right back up. I was like, man, I want to stay on a beach with a margarita, but market's back up. And if it's priced right, it's going to sell quickly.
Absolutely. And that's where, I really want to kind of wrap on the market is you can feel the market warming back up. I wish the weather would warm back up here in Denver sooner rather than later, but you certainly feel the market warming back up. I'm getting more and more calls from folks interested in both buying and selling. You can feel the market warming, and while it's tough to do, you got to ignore the noise. Got to, the media puts so much doom and gloom on housing market and takes such a wide angle from this of they hang their hat on the interest rates. There are so many financing products right now with lenders to help buyers get into these homes. And like I said, if you're looking to hang on to the home, it's a beautiful asset and you're not burning money with rent. Owning a home is always going to be better than renting a home.
Absolutely. I think it's worth noting too, a conceptual numbers is on about a $500,000 house. Every point in interest rate is equivalent to around 50K of purchase power. So that means if you think, oh, I'm going to wait till the interest rates drop. Okay, right now, let's say they're at 6%. I'm going to wait till they come to 5.5. Well, that's great. That house that was listed at 500,000 at 6%, if it drops to 5.5, that house is going to go up. That's typical economic supply and demand. Well, the payment is exactly the same. Let me say that again. If you buy a house today at 6% on a $500,000 house, it's the same payment. It might sting, we'll get to that, but it's the same payment as if you go down to 5.5 and the price goes to 5.50. And you've lost that time of equity. You know what I mean? And you've gained the rent, let's say the year that you've been burning money paying rent. So getting you guys into your first home is probably one of my biggest passions right now. Yes, I love the investment game. I love stacking properties, 2, 3, 4. My personal goal is 10 properties in 10 years. And to be honest, I buy one a year no matter what. I have some in the 2s, 3s, 4s, and it hurts me, but the one I'm buying right now under contract on is at 6%. Now I'm gonna buy the rate down and we can have a whole other podcast on how to do that. I get a bunch of money back in inspections. We know the ins and outs of every loan product. That's probably the most important part of this. Any agent can buy you a house, buy you and sell real estate, right? We're gonna truly help you create, I hate the word create wealth through real estate. It's such a catchphrase, it's been overused. You can go on any bigger pockets thing. Nicole Ruth is one of my favorite humans on the planet, and she has by far and away taken off with her building an investment empire, which I love and believe in and drink the Kool-Aid. But getting you in your first house is the first step. Then we can help you get number 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. And it goes a lot faster than you think. Now, my last 3 to 5 years is not necessarily indicative of the next 3 years, right? We can't guarantee that you're going to be able to turn 30K to 3 million. But I guarantee you can turn, paying rent into $1 million. and how it works is just using leverage, using somebody else's money to pay down debt, and then getting renters in there that will pay down the debt for you.